Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun. Your mama always said you'd be the chosen one. She said you're one in a million. You got to burn the shine. You were born under a bad sign with a blue moon in your eye. And you woke up this morning, and all that love had gone. Your papa never told you about right and wrong. But you're looking good, baby. I believe that you're feeling fine. Shade my light, born under a bad sign with a blue moon in your eyes. So sing it now. Woke up this morning, got a blue moon in your eyes.
Over the past few years, the world hasn't heard much from the once world-famous artist, Everyone Who Wants to Fuck Here, or Olaf for short. Not many know what happened to Olaf, but some have speculated as to where he might be found today. But what I want to do here is chronicle the saga that is Olaf's life, to sort of put into context what exactly happened to that frog-faced fella. So let's start off at the beginning of 2006. Olaf was just a tadpole with a bright future in stand-up comedy. He played some of the biggest venues before he was even legally able to drink. Although, like many child actors, Olaf's life would take a rather nasty turn for the worst. You see, in 2009, Olaf would marry his first wife, Gina. Unfortunately, that same year, Gina would be found dead in her apartment with multiple gunshot wounds. Olaf would be tried for the murder of Gina Sampson in February of 2010. He was found innocent by a court of his peers, and her murder would remain an open case for several years. During this time, Olaf made several run-ins with the law, ranging from petty drug charges and public intoxication. But that's not the end of old Olaf's tragic life. In spring of 2013, Olaf would marry his second wife, Janisa Applebottom Montgomery. The reason this is worth mentioning is because Janisa would later turn out to be an undercover FBI agent, aiming to get a confession of guilt out of Olaf over time. Not much is known about how Olaf found out about this, but eventually he would take her to court in June of 2015. Many have speculated that the trial was a sham, because Olaf ended up spending the next year in county jail for undisclosed reasons. After being released back to the public, Olaf would quickly find himself back on the streets with very little money, or even a home for that matter. Things quickly became worse as there were multiple reports in 2017 that a frog-faced hack was fighting homeless panhandlers, with one report going as far to say that the assailant had gouged out the eyes of his victims with his own tongue. And that's it. That's all we know about Olaf to this day. It's amazing that someone with such a bright future could sink so low over only a little over a decade's time. As to his whereabouts today, well, that's the real mystery. I heard some guy on the internet talk like this. He said something about squeezing his nips like a sissy from Mars. I don't know.